There is a hidden truth about people who constantly imagine conversations, arguments, and disasters that never actually happen, and almost everyone misunderstands it. They replay fights that have not happened. They rehearse conversations with people who do not even know those conversations exist. Before life gives them an ending, they have already imagined 10 different ways it could go wrong. Most people call this overthinking. They call it drama. They say, just stop living in your head. But that is not what is happening. What looks like imagination is often survival. Their mind is not creating fantasy for entertainment. It is running endless simulations, desperately trying to predict danger before it arrives. Not because they are weak, because somewhere along the way, uncertainty stopped feeling safe. Psychologists describe this as the brain's threat simulation system, a mechanism designed to prepare us for future challenges. But when it becomes overactive, it traps the mind in an endless cycle of rehearsing problems that may never exist. If you have ever lost an hour preparing for a conversation that never happened, or felt exhausted by battles that existed only inside your head, this video will explain why your brain does it, and more importantly, how to break the cycle. The mechanism. Imagine a security system installed in a house that was once broken into. Even years later, long after the locks were changed, the system still triggers at every creak and shadow. It is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. Scan for danger before danger arrives. That is what is happening when someone imagines a fake scenario. Their mind is running a simulation, testing outcomes in advance, so that if the real version ever happens, they will not be caught off guard again. This lives largely in the brain's default mode network, the system that activates during rest, when we are not focused on a task in front of us. For most people, it wanders. For someone caught in this pattern, it does not wander. It drafts. It writes the argument. It writes the rejection. It writes the apology they will never actually get. Each imagined scene is the mind's attempt to preload an answer, so that uncertainty, which the nervous system reads as danger, has one less place to hide. Their imagination is not dramatic. It is a nervous system trying to finish a sentence that real life left open. 3 root causes. It is not just their personality, and it is not simply that they have too much imagination. There are real roots underneath this. Cause 1 is developmental. Picture a child in a home where conflict appeared without warning. A parent's mood that could shift in a sentence, a silence that meant something was coming. That child learns to read the air before anything happens, rehearsing responses in their head just to feel one step ahead. Decades later, the rehearsal never turned off. Cause 2 is relational. Somewhere along the way, this person was blindsided. A breakup they did not see coming, a friendship that ended without explanation, a betrayal that came out of nowhere. The mind concluded that not predicting the end was the mistake, so now it tries to predict everything in advance, every time. Cause 3 is temperamental. Some nervous systems are simply wired with a lower threshold for uncertainty. Psychologists sometimes describe this as high-trait anxiety combined with a vivid, associative imagination. A mind built to generate possibilities easily, paired with a body that reads unresolved possibilities as threat. 3 hidden truths. Here is what is actually happening underneath, in real time, that no one on the outside can see. Truth 1. The imagined version often feels more physiologically real than people realize. Heart rate rises, muscles tense. The body does not fully distinguish an imagined confrontation from a real one, which means they are often quietly living through a hard conversation that never took place. Truth 2. This is not self-indulgence, it is protection. The scenarios are almost always about staying safe or staying loved, bracing for rejection, or preparing to say the right thing so no one leaves. It is aimed at holding the relationship together, not escaping it. Truth 3. Tied to that same default mode network. When someone tells them to just stop thinking about it, the network does not quiet down. It intensifies. Suppression is fuel here, not relief. Pressure and pursuit do not shut the simulation off. They restart it. This is not permanent. Even in the middle of an imagined spiral, there is a process still running underneath, still scanning, not for entertainment, but for evidence that it is finally safe to stop. If something in the moment signals real safety, a steady voice, an unhurried response, no sudden movement in the relationship, the simulations can slow, sometimes for the first time in hours. But if it reads more uncertainty, more silence, more unpredictability, it does the opposite. It builds another scenario, and another, and trust in the present moment quietly erodes, a little further each time. For the people who love them, if you love someone like this, the instinct is to reassure loudly, or to demand they come back to reality. Neither works. What actually helps is presence without demands. Steady, unhurried, not trying to out-argue the imagined version of you living in their head. Try saying, "I am not going anywhere, and we do not have to solve this right now." That sentence works because it removes the exact thing the simulation is trying to prepare for: sudden loss, which gives their nervous system permission to stand down, even slightly. For the person with the trait, if this is you, understand this is not a flaw in your character. It is a mind that learned to prepare for pain by rehearsing it first. You do not have to disappear into the loop to take it seriously. Try a signal like, "I am spiraling on a scenario right now. Can we just check in on what is actually true?" That sentence is not giving up the habit overnight. It is you, not the simulation, taking the wheel. The paradox. Here's the quiet strength hiding inside all of this. A mind that rehearses this carefully rarely says anything carelessly. Because they have already imagined every version of the conversation, when they finally speak the real one, it tends to be considered gentle and true. The same mind that exhausts them in private often makes them one of the most thoughtful people in the room. If any part of this felt familiar, for you, or for someone you love, tell that story in the comments. And if you know someone who has been living 3 conversations ahead of the one actually happening, send them this. This is simply human. If this video gave you a little more understanding of yourself, or someone you love, I would love for you to subscribe. We will keep exploring the parts of being human that do not always have words. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next time.